Hi everyone, it's Harry here from Berthon, and today we are down in a very sunny start of autumn here in Berthon to look around this Hanse 540 that she is now in the water and looking, I think, fantastic. And we're going to have a good tour around. I'll show you some of the cool features. As we start on the stern of the boat, I've lowered the swim platform, which I think is a pretty cool feature to have. You've got easy access if needed onto the boat. You've also can be a dinghy storage. I think this current owner uses it just as general storage because the dinghy does have to be fairly small to stick in there. But as an actual storage, it gives you loads of access, and also you get access on top, which I'll show you later. But also getting on and off the boat, swim platform, diving into the warmer Mediterranean Sea. These boats are fantastic. I think, they've got a nice deep long keel. So in terms of sail handling, going upwind, they're really powerful boats. But also, as I'll show you when we have a look on board, they're really easy to sail, especially, even 1 up, 2 up. This current owner, she's been in the same ownership since new. So in 2009, he took the boat new from Southampton, sailed it straight over to the Caribbean, and she stayed there since 2009. And then about this time last year, she sailed it back across the Atlantic, and I say she's now here in Leamington for viewings. As we make our way forward, big wide decks. As you can imagine, there's a lot of beam on these boats, so you've got loads of deck space, especially up forward here. So this one comes with the really nice self-tacking jib, and that was only replaced sort of May last year. So this is, but it's also sort of potentially rigged up if you do want a bigger Genoa setup. But this one's to say just always had the self-tacker. So I think, short-handed sailing or just cruising, it makes a really nice feature. That runs onto that track there, and then the one goes right back into the cockpit. Also up on the bow, there's a really big downwind parasailer that the owner's only used once crossing the Atlantic, so hasn't used that since. As you can imagine, a really big sail, but following those trade winds, if that's what you would like to do, that's perfect. There's also a storm jib, which again has not been used. But as this one owner, since new, he actually added quite a few different specifications that you might normally find on a boat like this, which I'll kind of show you around later as well, which I think are pretty cool. So right up on the bow, I think one nice feature of these Hanses is the retractable anchor. So normal day-to-day wear, or if you're just sort of going to your anchoring spots, you'd obviously just leave it out. But when you're doing slightly longer distance sailing, bring the anchor in, brings the weight off the bow, protects the boat a bit more, and tucks it neatly away. Gives you a bit more of a flush deck as well, so you're not having a big anchor overhang. So that's tucked up there, which I think is quite cool. Then just up in this forward locker, it's a really big sailing locker. Could potentially even be a crew locker, or stick someone up there if you don't necessarily like them very much, but it wouldn't be very comfortable. But I think you can really get all your fenders, sails, anything you like in there. Access to the bow thruster as well in there, which is pretty cool. But I think it's a really nice feature, giving you loads of storage if that's what you like to have on board. Right, making our way back down the boat. I think one quite different feature on this boat is so here you had it spec to be in boom furling. So the mainsail folds up into the boom here. So again, that goes sort of back into the cockpit. So it's sort of slightly different. You get a better sailing performance, well, as they say, to the in-mast, but also, easier to handle than you would do normally on a kind of your normal sort of stack pat main. So that furls away into the boom. Really big mainsail, so powerful mainsail. So with that and the self-tacking jib, you've got loads of really good performance. And as I say, if you're doing the trade winds, you could potentially get the parasailer out. But as I understand, this owner's always been happy with this sailing setup, and is very often even sailing on his own over the years, but obviously short-handed as well. So make our way back into the cockpit. Loads of deck space. So if you're out enjoying, the sunset or enjoying a good sail, you've got plenty of places to have lots of people on board. Or if you want to put solar panels up on the deck here, again, loads of space. All the lines are neatly tucked away under here, running back into the cockpit. So I think good clean decks. You can easily make your way up and back onto the deck if needed, back into the cockpit. You know, safety in that sort of sense, I think is pretty good. So making way right back into the stern of the boat. Again, vast sort of area back here where you can really enjoy the sailing. I think it's quite clever about this boat. There's really only two main primary winches that come back into the wheel here. So there's nothing forward under the spray hood, and there's nothing kind of really in the cockpit. Obviously the main sheet as well is forward of the spray hood. So there's no chance of getting in the way if you're there relaxing and enjoying the sailing. And then if you're back here and actually doing the sailing, all the lines lead into here. You've got your self-tacker sort of jib sheet, as it were, coming in, and obviously anything for the main. And these are both electric as well, so they can be controlled from here. So again, that's all. And then you do have the slightly smaller winch back here, you know, for the downwind sail or anything that's needed there. But most of the controls, as I say, are done all from here. We'll have another look right on that sort of on the port side. And make just overlook on the stern, you can see that swim platform. But then if you open up this big hatch, as I say, either a place for loads of storage or a dinghy. But I think storage is there's ample of storage, as you can imagine, with the forward locker and this aft locker. So all your toys. There's a lot of toys you can get these days for enjoying the water. They can certainly all fit in there. So that just shuts neatly up. Make your way. So you've got obviously engine controls, bow thruster here. There's a hydraulic ram tucked over here. Sorry for the swim platform. You've got an updated B&G plotter that was just done in the last sort of few years. And then your Simrad as well, autopilot, wind, and that's all just sort of mirrored on port and starboard side. But say with that twin wheel setup and that space where Harry is standing now gives you a lot of room for a 54-foot yacht. There's so much beam, the beam carries all the way back. Ooh, I nearly fell over. The beam carries all the way back. So yeah, you know, you can imagine having lots of friends and family sitting here, as well as, you know, back there. But if you want to do a bit of racing or anything like that, again, I think these boats perform extremely well. So right, let's come have a look. She does, I haven't mentioned the binemy as well, just behind, so that does cover. So that's tucked up now, but that obviously unfolds, covers up to about to the boom. So the wheel situation here, and then you've got the spray hood as well. So this aft part of the cockpit can be fully protected from the sun and the elements, and then up here, obviously on the bow, you've got your spray hood. Cool, right, come and have a look down below. And the space certainly continues, which I think is pretty good. Come down. So this is where you get the benefit of the beam and the beam carrying all the way through, as mentioned, but a really vast saloon, I think, which is pretty cool. You got on the starboard side, you've got your galley. So over here you've got kind of twin freezer. So you got, this could be a freezer or a fridge over here, and then you've got another fridge over here. So plenty of space to store those drinks and the food. And again, if you're doing longer distance sailing, as mentioned, some of the things that he did at build, which is unusual. There's a water maker, so that's tucked up sort of in the middle here, and there's also a generator, which I'll show you shortly, and that's sort of tucked. But as you can see, well, being 6'3", and in many boats I can't stand up in, but this one, plenty of room, which is nice to see. So again, very comfortable, long-term liverboard, lots of nice natural light coming in through the hatches. Just over on the port, slightly smaller chart table, I guess, which is, you know, fairly standard in these sorts of boats, but perfectly adequate. Gives you all that sort of information that you might need, so generator control and access to the batteries. Batteries are kind of right under the chart table as well, and they've all just been replaced in the last few years. So I think, and things have generally, because it's again one owner since new, anything that's needed doing over the years has always been looked after. It's never been chartered over in the Caribbean, so always been, you know, professionally looked after. I think that kind of shows with her condition, certainly throughout the age. And then two twin cabins. I'll let my colleague probably pop in there. Basically mirrored on both port and starboard. Every cabin has an ensuite as well. So you've got twin berths here, tucked in. There's no need to fight over who has which cabin, because they're basically identical, unless you prefer a side. Lots of nice, useful storage as well, and also so you've got your your head. There is also access, to the engine, but the main engine access is under the stairs. But I think it gives you good privacy. I think having it all en suites, I think, is a nice feature as well. And just on the starboard side, you get that same cabin, just on a different side, and again with your head as well. As you can imagine, there's loads of storage on these boats as well, lots of places to hang stuff, lots of all the hatches under our feet, all they come up, there's access, you get really good access to all the bolts, all the systems as well. So good size sort of hanging locker there, which is pretty good. And then coming back, say in the saloon, under our feet, you can easily see the keel bolts. So you've got the water maker and the batteries there, all these suckers as well, they all come up, which I think is good. So you've got heating, so she's got air conditioning in each cabin. So that's reverse as well, so you do get heating, but they're separate in all the cabins as well. You've got air conditioning as well. So kind of geared up for the warmer climates. So you obviously got your saloon table, nice view bath here, but also got these two sort of reclining seats tucked over in the corner. These do move over as well, so you can have two more seats here, so fit plenty around the dinner table and share stories about the high seas. As we make our way into the master cabin, we can both easily fit into this one. Again, the head height continues, which is nice to see. So big double, again air conditioning units, and they do have fans as well, but plenty of storage tucked away. And all the wood's got sort of nice oak feel. Wood is in very good condition. Little vanity sort of desk here as well. Big sort of hanging lockers, and then a slightly bigger sort of aft shower head as well. And that's electric, that head. And again, everything's kind of as and when is needed, has been updated, looked after. She came ashore here for sort of maybe 4 or 5 months, but the owner launched her sort of early summer and has been using the boat a bit since. Why not, in this sort of beautiful Solent that we have. But in the meantime, has also been updating and looking after stuff as well. And I think for the money and for the boat and for everything that you get on this on board, it makes a really good sort of either cruiser cruising around the Mediterranean as a family boat, or even longer distance blue water. I think, as I say, with that generator, with the water maker, you have that option of doing longer distance sailing. So tucked in here, you get access to the engine, say you've got your generator, and there's also various points along the sides where you can get all the access as well. And that just slides back down. So there we have it. Hope you enjoyed the tour. Any further questions? She's down here in the water in Berthon in Leamington. I'm very open to viewing 7 days a week. And any other further questions, do let me know. But I look forward to hopefully seeing you soon. Many thanks. Bye bye. Ciao.